Hi, I'm Mary Miles. I'm a professor in the Department of Health and Human Development. I do a lot of research that relates to inflammation, primarily as a risk factor, but not always. Sometimes we look at it with respect to muscle damage and inflammation related to exercise. This is Keaton Buckingham. He's an undergraduate student that works in my lab. Right now he's doing an assay to measure inflammation biomarkers that are in saliva of some research subjects that were running in a study. They ran 10 miles up and downhill in different types of shoes, and we're trying to see how much inflammation difference the shoes would make. Okay, so this is the other part of my lab, or one of the other parts. We do a lot of work in this section where we do measurements on actually where the human participants come in, and we might be collecting the samples. So one of the things that we do a lot is we'll put people on this treadmill and hook them up to our metabolic cart right here, and that'll measure how much oxygen they can consume. And that gives us a good measure of their cardiovascular fitness, how much oxygen the heart delivers and how much oxygen the muscles take up and use while they exercise. In addition to that, so sometimes we do projects where we want to know what happens during exercise. So we'll measure blood. Over here's a lot of times where people might sit to have their blood drawn, and then they get on the treadmill, do their exercise, and that's as far as they have to go before we draw another blood sample. So they hop off, boom, draw another one. Other times we do projects where we want to see, for example, how people respond to a high-fat meal challenge. So in that case, we'll draw a lot of blood samples, and sometimes we put these venous catheter lines in, so that little catheter will sit inside a vein, and then every hour or so we'll come over and draw up a sample of blood, and then we don't have to keep sticking people over and over, and we can measure. So one of the things that we often do, because a lot of the work that we do involves metabolic health, which is that we're of interest in that, particularly in people who have a little excess adipose on their bodies, particularly if it's in the abdomen. So some of our measurements are for determining how much body fat you have, and this is the bod pod. What that does is it just determines your body volume. If we have body volume and weight, we can determine your density and estimate your body fat. So people sit in that in a swimsuit or minimal clothing such as that, and it's just a couple-minute test. So one of the research projects that we have going on right now, it's just about to start, is we're enrolling people who have elevations in their fasting triglyceride levels, which is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease and diabetes. Work with microbiology people and biochemistry people. We got a large collaborative group here at the university, and the types of studies that we're doing are trying to make people who are at risk for metabolic diseases a lot healthier.